So this is the second video about ecosystems. The first video being about energy in ecosystems, and this video is going to be about nutrients in ecosystems because, of course, ecosystems need both nutrients and energy. But the difference is energy travels in a one-way path through the ecosystem, and it is lost at the end as heat. And so there's a limit to the amount of energy, and it only goes one direction. Okay, nutrients, on the other hand, the amount of nutrients it's kind of consistent throughout the ecosystem, and they're recycled. So in other words, the amount of nutrient, carbon, nitrogen, water, oxygen, phosphorus, these things are always being recycled throughout the ecosystem. You don't really run out of them. You might run out in one area, but and the earth as a whole, it's consistent. It's going to be staying the same because it's continually being recycled. The first nutrient cycle that I want to talk about is one you're probably familiar with. That's the water cycle. So water cycles between the oceans, which is a huge reservoir of water, the atmosphere, which is another big reservoir of water, and then also through the land. It also is going to cycle through living things. All living things need water. They have to have water to survive. It's absolutely essential. So it's going to travel also through living organisms. We're going to start with looking at the atmosphere. Water enters the atmosphere through this process of evaporation, or if it goes through out of plants, it's called transpiration. So evaporation from lakes, rivers, the ocean, or transpiration from plants. When water returns to Earth from the atmosphere, of course, there's going to be condensation in the atmosphere, and then precipitation, which might be in the form of rain, snow, sleet, or hail. These are all forms of precipitation, so the water comes back to Earth. When it reaches Earth, it's going to either soak down, percolate down into the soil, or some of it will run off and re-enter lakes, rivers, or the ocean. Some of the water that's in the soil will enter the bodies of plants and then eventually make its way to animals or into fungus or bacteria or any of the other organisms. So this is an overview of the water cycle. I'm sure you've seen this before. We have evaporation and transpiration into the atmosphere. We have condensation and precipitation, rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Some of it will percolate down. It says seepage here. It's percolating down into the soil, end up in the groundwater, or taken up by plants or animals. And some of it will simply run back off into the lakes, oceans, and